Judith slaying Holofernes, overcoming strength. Artemisia Gentileschi was an artist that has been rediscovered in the last few decades by feminist art historians. She was one of the first female artists to achieve success in the 17th century, and she has been critically acclaimed for her emotional and raw depictions in her paintings. She began her career by following in her father's footsteps, who was the one who taught her how to paint. Her father, Orazio Gentileschi, was himself a follower of Caravaggio, so Artemisia too was influenced by Caravaggio, except many of her paintings focused on the power of women and the resistance of men, such as her work Susanna and the Elders, where a woman named Susanna is being harassed by elders of a village. In other works depicting this scene, Susanna is being painted as shy and flirtatious, while in Artemisia's version she is terrified and resisting their advances. Many scholars speculate that her obsession with painting women in powerful roles stems from the tragic event of her being raped at only the age of 18 by one of her father's associates, Agostino Tassi. The main artistical piece that this video is representing is Artemisia Gentileschi's rendition of Judith beheading Holofernes, titled Judith slaying Holofernes. The painting is based off the Old Testament tale of the Jewish heroine Judith, which according to Dr. Esperanca Camara in her article Gentileschi, Judith Slaying Holofernes, describes how the beautiful widowed Judith was able to catch the attention of the Assyrian general Holofernes. General Holofernes was planning on using his army to destroy Judith's village of Bethulia. By exploiting his lust for her, she gained access to his tent, waited until he was drunk, and proceeded to cut his head off, thereby saving her town. The scene was a common scene to be depicted during the Renaissance, but none of the works were near as visceral and brutal as the one painted by Artemisia. Her depiction of Judith slaying Holofernes shows a woman in the most powerful position a human can take, the one where they're taking someone else's life with their own hands. Using her personal experience of being raped at the hands of Agostino Tassi, she depicted the scene involving herself and Tassi, as her being Judith and Tassi being Holofernes. The utter brutality that the painting depicts shows the pain inside Artemisia and how she felt at the hands of her aggressor. Comparing Artemisia's version against the man that influenced her style of painting, Caravaggio, we can immediately see the differences in their depiction of the two women. According to Caravaggio.org and Caravaggio's version, we can see the horror in Holofernes, the surprise in his face that Judith is the one beheading him, this symbolizing the culture that women are generally not the ones in the dominant and powerful positions, especially ones involving direct violence. We can also see that Judith is almost squeamish and holding back, almost in fear at the act she's committing, and her handmaiden, although terse and serious, looks like she's supporting the action, she's not directly part of the violence. In Artemisia's versions, we see that Holofernes isn't in surprise or fear, he's fighting back with all his might, trying to strangle the handmaiden that's holding him down, showing that these aren't gentle women and that he's fighting someone who is his equal and that he's not holding back. Judith also isn't portrayed as being squeamish either. She has a look of determination and concentration on the act at hand, almost like it's something she's planned for and is fully capable of doing. Comparing the two handmaidens as well, one can see that in Artemisia's version, she is fully committed to being an active member of the murder and not a bystander. Throughout history, art has always been made to record or symbolize something important to the artist or to the patron who commissioned the piece. Power and strength in art has been a recurring theme throughout artistical history, from the creation of grand monuments such as the Ark of Titus, that recorded the military accolades of then Emperor Domitian's brother Titus, to films that showed the power of a country, such as The Triumph of Will by Leni Riefenstahl, that showed the true military power of Germany, and the force that Germany could bring to bear in open warfare. These pieces of art had a purpose, to show the strength and dominance of the men who commissioned them. Although not a historically common occurrence for women to be portrayed as powerful and strong, as powerful and generally powerful and strong, there have been at least a few depictions of women seen as a strong, powerful force. As read in Brian Zygmunt's article, the painting of Lady Liberty leading the people is a powerful image that further shows how women can be portrayed as strong and can even be seen as leading men. This painting, in a similar way to Judith slaying Holofernes, shows a woman doing something that was historically a man's job. She's leading the French people to victory and showing them how courage should be displayed on the battlefield. Other works of art, such as We Can Do It by Howard Miller, which depicts Rosie the Riveter showing off her strength, show women in the non-traditional role of the manual labor profession. Rosie the Riveter was a propaganda icon during the Second World War when many industries required the labor of women to make up for the lack of men who were drafted. This is a perfect example of how displaying powerful women in art can impact a culture, because it led to a surge of mechanically skilled young women who proved to the country and to the world that in a time of a male-dominated society, that women could do the exact same job as men and with equal skill and quality. Artemisia Gentileschi and her work, Judith slaying Holofernes, was a forerunner of modern feminist art. Her many works depicting strong women helped to show that women could be powerful and commit the same actions and do the same jobs that men could do as far back as the early 17th century. Her artwork could be seen as one of the leading examples of how to break stereotypes and how one person can have influence over a culture. Her skills as an artist also helped to break the stereotypes that men were the predominantly skilled painters, such as her work that we saw, Susanna and the Elders, which was originally thought to be painted by her father, Orazio Gentileschi, until it was proven that she did in fact paint it. After that, she was accepted as an extremely skilled artist in her time period. Artemisia has done much for the advancement of the thought of powerful women, and her painting of Judith slaying Holofernes is one of the greatest examples of this.